Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you all are enjoying your weekend and you are mentally getting prepared to go back to the 9 to 5 rat race on tomorrow, whatever your rat race may or may not be. Today I want to talk to you all about internalized oppression and the impact of systemic racism. And I'm going to speak to you all from a Black woman perspective. Now, I know some people like to come from me, and yes, systemic racism takes place with different groups. I can't speak from those perspectives because I am a Black woman. So I've never been an Asian woman. I've never been a Hispanic woman. I've never been a Native American woman. So I can't speak from those perspectives. Take the information that I'm sharing today and apply it to your situation. Okay. But there's this book that I have on my bookshelf, and I've had it for some years now. I had it when I worked in higher education, and it is called Internalize Oppression. And I like this book because it comes from a mental perspective of how racism has impacted different groups. So not just Blacks, but different groups. But one of the things that it talks about, and the focus of the book, is how we internalize the oppression that we have gone through. So that usually comes out, PTSD, anxiety, depression, those are the words that everyone is using now that we are all familiar with. But there's one thing that we don't talk about that I think we need to start talking about. And we need to start talking about how we internalize the oppression that we've been through. And then we, in turn, apply it to different people within our group. And that's one focus of the book. So, yes, we internalize it and it does some damage to us. But some people take it a step further and they take the white is right, and then it becomes, I think, in their mind to a certain degree, that other people within their group have to suffer too, and they become the individual who inflicts that pain. And so I want to talk about this from the context of Black women in corporate America and how Black women hurt other Black women. And so I have had, several jobs in corporate America. And I can say this, that as a Black woman, I have not had that many Black supervisors, let alone Black women who have been my superiors in corporate America. But the few times that I did, I can tell you this, during the interview, I would get so excited. Like, yes, we have a sister that is running things around here. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And then once I got the job and the honeymoon phase ended, I was like, oh my God. It became this battle of her trying to prove a point. And I never understood that because I was like, actually, you're my superior. So you're actually on a higher level than me. And why aren't we using this opportunity to maybe groom me so that I can be in a leadership position, or to groom other Black women? Like, there are not that many Black women in these executive positions and CEO positions. And a lot of times we like to deflect and say it is because of racism. But yes, it is racism, but not in the context that we really think it is. It's not because a white man or a white woman is stopping us, but sometimes it is because that Black person that is in that position is not making a way for other Blacks to move into leadership. They are not grooming them. And they also feel that because I suffered whatever they had to go through to get that position, and trust me, they went through some stuff to get there, that they feel in order for other Blacks to get there, they have to suffer and they have to struggle too. I'm not going to make this easy for you. You need to suffer. You need to feel the pain. And I thought we were supposed to be paving a way to make it easier, not to inflict more pain on a group of people who've already endured a lot in their lifetime. I know one particular incident that I was being groomed to be the COO of a health organization. Was very excited. It was an older black woman who was the CEO, and she felt that I would be good to take over one of the clinics that the organization was over. And so I was really excited. We went through all the groundwork for it. And then one day she called me in her office and she wanted me to sign some documents. They were actually for a federal grant. And the information that I was signing, that she wanted me to sign off on, was not accurate. And I was like, no, I am not doing this. This information is not accurate. I refused. And then I realized it would only be my signature on there, not her signature. And I'm not going to jail for anyone. And she began to, all of a sudden, all the nice things she had said about me and to me and my capabilities and my leadership skills that she saw, it's like she took all of that back. And you wouldn't be a great COO, and I don't know what I was thinking. You don't understand business, and part of business is sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do. Yes, I agree. Sometimes we do have to do things we don't want to do. Going to jail on your behalf is not one of those things that I am going to endure as a professional. It was a no. And then she went on to tell me that I had to sign the documents because I was a single parent and no one else would hire me, and that I would always stay the low man on a totem pole in corporate America because I wasn't willing to compromise. And I was just sitting there like, I don't know what she's talking about. And so she was basically giving me an ultimatum. And I gave her my ID badge and I said I quit. I'm not signing the documentation, and I'll be okay because I had my private practice. I was going to be fine. And if anyone knows me, I had my little white box under my desk. I pulled it out, packed up my office in about 5 minutes because, you know, I don't take a whole lot of stuff into corporate America. Well, I didn't. And, I quit. But when I got outside, a part of me just broke into a million pieces because I was like, as black women, aren't we supposed to be helping each other? Aren't we supposed to be building each other up? Aren't we supposed to be paving the pathway for other black women to be in positions of leadership? And I realized in that moment that no, some of us are not. When I went into higher ed, again, women in particular, but black women especially, are not in leadership roles again. And so I found that they were fighting over dean positions, chair positions, program director positions. And I was like, nobody's fighting to be the president. Like, nobody wants to be high up, run the whole campus. And that's what I wanted to do. And I found myself being faced with gatekeepers who would steal grants from me, who would not give me credit for the work that I had done to build up an entire department. Was often told, you're not going to progress because you don't have your PhD. Well, okay, let me go get a PhD. Got a PhD, you still was faced with opposition. And today it just really made me think, because recently I was faced with another position where, as a corporate trainer, was negotiating with the city out in Texas to come in and do some training for their employees. And I was, negotiating with a black woman. She was a person that in HR. And so she did not make this very easy. Now, mind you, she brought me in, but once she brought me in, it suddenly became like she had to prove this point of, I'm bringing her in, but I'm going to show you why black women really aren't equipped to do this. And so it was all these demands that she had, and I was just like, I don't really think that's what you all need, but okay, then it became the pricing. And so they're asking for the moon and the stars. Well, hey, when you're asking for the moon and the stars, that costs. And then, the icing on the cake was when I received the comments from the legal department on the contract that I sent in, and the comments were biased. There were a lot of biased comments, not just one or two. And when I pointed this out to her, her comment to me was, that's not bias. You misunderstood what they were saying, and that's unfortunate. And I was just like, you know what, Carey, Dr. Carey, we don't need this contract, because if we're having to go all this back and forth over stuff that I have not had to go back and forth with other organizations about, this is what it's going to be like once I get there, me trying to get paid. You know, it was just an ongoing situation with her. The other ice on the cake with that particular situation was when she wanted me to do an 1.5 hour training for free for the leaders of the city, so they could test me out and see if I really knew what I was doing. Girl, I got a whole PhD. No. And so it's things like that that make me sit down and say, as Black women, why do we do this to each other? Why do we make the lives of other Black women a living hell, instead of making it easier for them to get through the door? We know what it takes to get through that door because we had to endure some things. But now that you're in that position, making it easier for the next woman that's coming along, giving her a helping hand. And I don't see that happening. But the reason that it's not happening, it's not out of spite. It's not that they don't think you deserve it. Again, it goes back to systemic racism, the impact of systemic racism, and how it becomes a form of internalized oppression, that they have taken all that they've endured through systemic racism, processed it, internalized it, and now they feel that it is their duty to impart that on everyone else, that they have replaced the role of the white man, and now it is their job to continue the system of systemic racism. But it's actually internalized oppression within their own group. So if you have not picked up, seen a copy of this, Internalized Oppression, grab a copy of that. Also tonight I will be live on Instagram. I think it's around 8:30, but on Instagram I'll have a flyer in my stories. I hope that you'll join me. I will be doing an interview, and we're going to be talking about Shut 'Em Down, the anthology that I released last fall, which was actually the stories of 20 women that talks about their experience in corporate America with racism. And with those women, some of them actually do talk about how the oppression that they endured in corporate America didn't come from someone white. It was actually another Black woman that made their life a living hell. So I hope that you'll join me tonight, 8:30 on Instagram. But if you're not following me on social media, you're enjoying these car chronicles that I'm doing, make sure you check me out. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter. So I hope that you join me. But until next Sunday, mentally get yourself ready. Let's prepare for this upcoming week. But as you're doing all of that, if you're one of the Black women who is making the lives of other Black women a living hell in corporate America, please ask yourself why. Why are you doing that? Why are you not trying to help them? And why aren't you using your position of authority to make it easier for more Black women to enter into corporate America? Ask yourself why. Until next Sunday.